Welcome to the Iolani School podcast. I'm John Tamanaha, Director of Interactive Media and a frequent morning visitor to the faculty lounge, where coffee is usually accompanied by good conversations. This podcast strives to share that sort of experience with a larger audience. This is our 15th episode as we continue to visit with people associated to Iolani School to hear their personal stories. This time we went on the road and visited with longtime lower school science teacher Mrs. Kathe Nose-Warner in the new Kaneshiro Science and Innovation Center. She tells us about introducing science to our youngest students, her love of teaching, and so much more. Kathe began attending Iolani as a student 40 years ago and played a unique role in our school's pivotal transition to coeducation. One of just 2 girls to graduate with the mighty class of 1982, she also shares priceless stories about the legendary Eddie Hamada and the humble beginnings of our girls' athletic program. Only a few tears were shed while we reflected on the past, discussed the present, and looked forward to the future. Thanks for downloading. Please enjoy. This is really nice, Kathe. Thank you for having us. Usually Kings and I are telling people to come see us, but then we asked you if we could barge in on your wonderfully beautiful digs here.
I'm very honored and very grateful. Very honored and grateful.
We're in prep room 1 of the Kaneshiro Science and Innovation Labs, which is adjacent to the equally new Sydney and Mini Kosasa Performance Studios, which is just Mackay of the also somewhat new K1 Community and Wall Family Playground.
Gorgeous
area. Really awesome. How are you liking it?
I feel so blessed. I mean, in one's lifetime as a teacher lifetime, to be able to live and teach in a space like this with all this kind of innovation and all the top of the line kind of technology and engineering upstairs and living space where we get to pretty much live the dream of letting the kids dream big, and letting them explore and wonder and find out answers. It's just amazing. I don't think I've even tapped into 10% of what this building can do and these people that occupy this building and this space can do.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing to kind of walk around here as I did this morning with Mr. David Masunaga, the famed geometry teacher in the upper school, class of 75, who for the past few weeks I said, "Have you gone down there?" He goes, "No, I haven't gone." And then today I saw him at the faculty lounge and I said, "Let's go." And he actually agreed. He came down, and when we saw you helped give him the tour of this first floor of the Kaneshiro Science and Innovation Labs. Maybe try and give our audience an audio tour of what it's like down here.
Well, the first floor has 3 very large. I'm not sure of the square footage, but 3 very large science classrooms.
Quite spacious.
Yes, where we service 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and then we also have these science prep room that has one of Lindsay Rabe, who's the music teacher, says it's bigger than her condo.
Yeah,
and she probably would live here if she could pay rent. And across the way is Lindsay and Lisa Simone, who teach with these beautiful large glass with natural light being able to come in. They teach music and dance, and we can just see them right across the courtyard.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to watch them, move with the kids and dance with the kids and sing with the kids. And then upstairs, you have religion, and you have another third grade classroom with Mrs. Kai, religion with Mrs. Miyata. And then you have Mr. Furcano and Mrs. Nakamoto in this state-of-the-art tech lab.
Yeah, it's
design
kind of
lab.
like a mini Sullivan Center over there.
Yes, it is. It is. It's got the 3D printer. It's got all these wonderful gadgets that the kids get to go to weekly. So now they're servicing kids full time there. It's a huge living space. It's a huge dreaming space for the kids.
And in these science rooms for the lower school, I mean, there's just so much room, and there's so many sinks, and there's all sorts of windows.
That came in
things
handy for
going on.
COVID.
Yeah.
The hand washing.
Yeah.
It came. Yeah, we have 6 sinks.
And the space, too,
Yes.
because the students have to kind of spread out.
Yes.
And there's different sizes of desks and
Yes.
chairs. And you're just getting started here, really.
Just tapping the surface. Yes, just tapping. Like today we did catapults, and the kids that did catapults got to spread out on the lanai outside to do their lever experiment. And on the inside, there's just so much workspace and experiment space that the kids can go to, and they can be safely socially distanced. It's amazing.
The thing, when I think about your old classroom, and I guess I'll call it the back door of,
Yes.
of your older classroom,
Yes.
your previous classroom, I should say.
Yes.
And if you kind of go to that area and you look out, I mean, there's tents because of the social distancing and kind of for the kids in their free time. But when you look out and see the K1 community, and then to the right, the labs and the studios and everything that's going on here, it's amazing. It's really hard to comprehend on some level.
It's an exciting time to be here in lower school. It really is. I mean, we even had a chance to contribute to the design of this building. So all the teachers that were here 4 years ago, we met with the architects. Was it Design 70?
G70.
G70. Yeah. G70. We got to meet with the designers. We got to meet with the architects. We got to dream big too, like how the kids got to dream big. So we designed this building, and they listened to us. Actually, we asked for more sinks, and we asked for more learning space, and they actually said, okay, and thanks to the supportive administration, of course, and that they could see that the future is in science and technology.
That's so cool, because you teach design thinking.
Yes.
And then you got to experience it yourself.
Absolutely. And engineering design too. I mean, they said, oh, we can do this. How about if we change up a little bit of, they would show us the blueprint and then change it right there in front of our eyes. And I think the K1 community also got to do that too. They had a lot of teacher input, so that was eye-opening to us to get to be able to go through the whole process with them, with the architects and the designers. And
I'm very impressed by this area we're sitting in right now. This is the prep room, and it looks like there's a kitchenette right behind where King's is. There's a refrigerator, a dishwashing machine, a range and stove, microwave. This is, you could, and I'm sitting on this couch here.
Yeah.
You could live here.
It's hurricane proof. Yeah. So anybody that needs to come and live here, if in case their house is not hurricane proof, this beautiful building certainly is. And I think even the cinder blocks or the blocks were made here locally in Hawaii too, that support the structure. I know there's some history behind that too. It has the red lava rock as well.
Very cool.
Then this design in here was originally made for the kids to use for cooking, but hopefully that'll come maybe latter second semester. So they'll be able to cook in here in this area.
Some of your after-school class activities and those sorts
Garden
of things.
club, and then we also have the Iron Chef Challenge, where the kids are challenged. They garden, and then they're able to cook what they grow.
Yeah, I've seen that. You guys make those smoothies and different things. Very, very
And
cool.
they eat kale that they grow themselves. They won't eat it from the store, Well, they eat the kale that they grew.
Kale smoothies too.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
interesting. We should also mention that the K1 community next door has their own outdoor science areas that they also use for art, I believe. And
Yes.
it's very, very cool.
The
Lots of
K1, the
resources.
K1 community. Yes, they do science outside in that Lanai area, between the two classrooms, and they also have gardens out there
Yeah.
too. Yes.
And you have gardens out here
Mm-hmm.
around this building.
Right around the building too. So a
So
lot of
cool.
outdoor education, and it's right outside the door. We don't have to really walk very far. It's great.
So awesome. For our young scientists here at Iolani School, I want to ask you for your definition of science, the word science. What is science?
The word science for me is always seeking the truth, always looking at the world around you and trying to find why something works, or how something works, or why things are the way they are. So for me, that's science at its best. We have to base many of our decisions based on science facts.
Yeah.
And it's currently being discussed in the world right now as we speak, with COVID. But it's always seeking knowledge, always seeking the truth based on facts, based on data.
And here in the lower school, you've taught kindergartners, right? And when they're that young, 5 years old, 6 years old, that sort of thing, what is important to impart to them, even at that early stages, about science?
Oh, definitely to be curious, just to wonder about what's going on in the world around them. Why is the water seem to not be going downward, in this little place, or why is it not draining, or why do our ahupua'as, we teach a lot about ahupua'as and our native species, why aren't they not returning to our to the streams, just wondering about all kinds of things around them, and then wanting to find the truth
Yeah.
about their curiosity. So it's not just wondering and being curious about having the passion or having the drive to be able to find that truth and look for that truth in reliable sources, whether it be data or whether it be personal interview by a trusted source. So, yeah.
So I guess for young and old, right? It's not always about answers. It's about questions. It's about asking questions.
Yes.
And you're trying to get them to start to ask questions
Yes.
about the world around them.
Absolutely. We always start with a wondering. When we just started electricity with the second graders, like, what do you know about electricity and what do you want to learn about electricity? And then they determine that path of which direction we go with electricity. It's really important that the wondering gets followed through, and not just kind of left behind. And so we try to take the path of where the kids' primary interests are, not just saying, "Oh, okay, that's a good question, but let's just move this way." Yeah, follow their path too.
And then at some point, you have units of study. Like I'll point out a good example of that is Space Night,
Yes.
which is is in combination with Space Camp,
Yes.
but your area of it is Space Night. Tell us a
Correct.
little bit about what Space Night
Yes.
is.
So for those of you that are listening out there, you remember our dear Mrs. White. And she was our third grade teacher a few years back, and she started Space Night. I think last year was our 20th year. Oh, no. The year before, sorry,
Yeah.
was our 20th year of Space Night, where she brings in the community and of astronomers and wayfinders. And we have our own wayfinder, Miss Kat Fuller, here that does a really good lesson on navigation through stars. And she brings in the UH Astronomy. We bring in the UH Astronomy Society, and they bring in all their high-powered telescopes. And the kids just ask questions and wonder. And we do, the University of Hawaii comes in, and we do this big, huge dome. I think you
Yeah.
remember your daughter doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You crawl through the dome, and then you lie on the floor, and there's this all the constellations, and they go through the constellations in the spring, summer, and fall. And it's just a really great way to bring in the community and have the community experts answer the kids' questions. We
Yeah.
also have that egg drop, the raw egg drop
Yeah.
from, that the kids have to drop an egg from the second floor in order to have it survive. Just a really fun night with parents and families that they get to explore. And we also had Mr. Kimura, Art Kimura, come one year from the Big Island, and he got to share a lot of his experiments, and he got to answer a lot of their questions.
Yeah, from a parent perspective, I enjoyed it. I learned. You get to look through these crazy, powerful telescopes. They show you things and
Rings around Jupiter. You can actually see
it's
it.
amazing. Yeah.
It's like, whoa. Then you look out and you go, oh my God, it's not even, you can't even see anything. Then you look inside the telescope and it's like right there. All those beautiful rings and the storms.
Yeah, it's telescopes as big as I don't know, like barbecues type size.
Big size barbecue, the jumbo one.
Yeah. I can just see in your eyes the joy when you talk about science. When did you start to love science?
I actually think that was always part of me. So that's actually, I think I mentioned to you before we were on air that I always was interested in a science-related field. And I didn't go that route until later, till I got my elementary ed degree. And then I had this opportunity for science. So it just kind of all fell into place. You have, even with my cohort that I teach with, Katie Tierney and Jamie, they're all have this love. And Mr. Cheney, Aaron Cheney, he's still here, everyone. He's still here. And they just have an affinity towards science. They just love it. And I think we're just as curious as the kids. If they ask a really good question, we're just as curious as to want to find out about the answer. Kids ask really good questions. Boy, sometimes it's like, wow, that's a good one. I don't know the answer. And they're like, oh, they feel challenged to find the answer too.
That's awesome. That's really good to hear. I'm a big fan of questions and asking questions.
I noticed that, John.
Here's my next question. When did you decide to go into teaching? When did you pair your love of science and this idea of teaching?
I would say that it's always, I've been here for a very long time.
How long have you been here?
Like off and on.
Sure.
I've been here since I was, of course, in high school. But we were doing the summer school, after school, summer school. What is that called? The one
Summer fun.
Summer fun.
Like you're helping the Dave Chun of the time.
Dave Chun, Joan Kaneshiro,
Eddie Hamada was running that.
Mr. Hamada, Mr. Nakoa. They were all running that, and I was doing that since I was 15 or 14 years old, and so I just loved being around kids. And I'm actually a big kid at heart too, because we there's a lot of fun things that the kids say and do, and it's just a joy to come every day to school. And in this new building, I can't believe that I'm living the dream. But
being a teacher,
education was always in me. I've always wanted to be around kids. They energize me. They give me a lot of. I'm very passionate about being around them and trying to help them. They're very and I get to see them grow up here at Iolani because we're K through 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I don't know, Bradley Woe, I don't know if you guys know Bradley Woe, but he just came back to visit me. He graduated from Stanford, and I had him in 3rd grade, and he said, Space Night, I remember Space Night, Mrs. Warner, And he came back to visit. They know where to come home to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the graduates. So I know it's always been in me for a very long time.
There's probably, because you say that, there's probably been a teacher down the road, maybe at this school or a previous school or at a college, that made an impact on you. Is there such a person? People?
I would have to say mostly at Iolani. College is, you might have to edit this out, but college is a little bit of a blur.
No, yeah.
Kings.
I know
And
that.
oh, sorry. And but high school, boy, I remember so vividly
Yeah.
being here and getting to learn from the best people. That
Who were your science teachers?
Miss Sueoka, but she's no longer here. And I had Mr. Sawyer, and he's no longer here. But a lot of people just here that help guide me, and I think unknowingly, they were just inherently good people that served God and served the school well. Just really morally sound people that were here.
That's always been the strength of the school.
Yes. Yes.
It's people,
Yes.
it's components.
That truly cared about you. It wasn't kind of fake caring. They actually really truly cared about you. Because, Iolani's not easy. And it's not just the academics, it's the whole person that they really try to. I don't even know if they're trying to do that. It's just that's who they are, who
Yeah.
these people are,
Just
who these
imparting
teachers are.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
Teachers, mentors, examples,
Yeah.
role models. Yeah.
I don't know how much thought they give to it. I think it's just ingrained or inherent.
Do you ever kind of consider that you're doing that for your students?
Not consciously, maybe subconsciously,
But when
so
they come back, like you were just describing, with Bradley coming back, there's a reason he visited.
yes,
You made an impact.
yes, to see how I was doing, if I was still alive, and if and he wanted to see this beautiful building too.
Yeah.
They all want to come back and see the change and see how the school progresses forward, and they get excited too. The alumni, they get very excited to see the change for the kids.
What do you love about teaching?
That no day is the same.
Mm.
Every single day is different.
Even if you're teaching the same thing
Yeah.
and it's another space night, it's always different.
It's always different. Things are always changing, whether it be how we can improve on it, or whether a kid has a new direction to take it in, or whether some parents that are experts in the field come and offer their expertise to share to the kids. I mean, it's wonderful that everyone every day is different. I could be teaching electricity, or I could be teaching renewable energy to fourth graders, and then a girl, Haley Sadayama, comes up to me and says, "Mrs. Warner, my mom is the solar, works for Hawaiian Electric, and she's the solar power energy lady that can come and talk to you." I'm like, "Yes, let's get her in,"
Yeah.
And so Haley sets it all up, a fourth grader, between her mom and I, and we got a Zoom meeting going and a presentation from a primary source.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I've been teaching renewable energy for 5 years now, but the kids learned a whole bunch of new information from her.
Going back to space night and
Yeah.
primary sources and all that, I've been to little sessions that you've had, not little, big sessions with NASA astronauts.
Oh yeah, I forgot to
That's
mention that.
amazing. Yeah, those were really.
Yes, we had real astronauts come to they haven't come lately, maybe for the past 3 years, but every year for about 10 years we had an astronaut come that Krishima Bukuro and the alumni IAO actually supported to have them come. They helped me set it up. Yep. So they had a real live astronaut come
Yeah,
and talk
those-
to the
those
third
are
graders
awesome.
every year.
There's a little poster here on your wall that I'm looking at. Has a definition of the word teacher. It said, "A multitasking educational rock star who lives to inspire and loves to encourage." They're kind of a big deal. That sums it up really well.
I don't view myself as that. I view the people that taught me as that.
But that's kind of, what does that serve as a reminder here of?
Yeah, I think I put that more in as as a reminder of the people that taught me. I don't view myself as a teacher. I view myself like I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
But
No, it's clearly an inspirational type message that hangs
it's
there.
the people that taught me that I see as teachers. And
Yeah, it's so cool.
there's many people here that have fit that description. I don't see myself fitting that description yet. Not yet. Maybe when I retire in 10 years, I'll be ready.
10 years, so soon. She's just saying that, King
Not
Stone.
soon enough. Not soon enough. Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But well, it's right next to you know who and you know who,
Yeah.
and there's one more person that's missing, and
We will talk about you know who
yeah.
in a little bit.
Okay.
As I look here at your bulletin board, this is kind of like a dorm room in here. It's really
It
comfortable and cozy. I love it. There's a lamp
Yes.
and a
Yes.
bulletin board. But that emotion that you just shared, is that why you're here teaching? Because teachers teach at schools all over. Is it like, do you need to be here to give back, or is that
You hit the nail on the head. Yes. Partly for me, a little bit of more of selfish. I wanted to come back here very badly because I wanted to give back. I mean, even if I was only here for 2 years
as a student?
as a student, I've been here pretty much all my life because I've been wanting to come to Iolani all my life, but I've pretty much been here since I was 11 or 12, trying to get into the school that didn't take girls yet.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been trying to get here, and it's just I wanted to come back here. My goal was to end my career here, and I got lucky enough to have that happen, and be able to give back to Iolani as much as they gave to me.
You mentioned that you've wanted to come to this school before you came to this school. It was an all-boys school until 1979. You came in 1980. Can you kind of describe why you wanted to go to Iolani School?
Yes, I can. I actually came to summer school every year that I could from, I think was maybe 5th grade. 6th grade, I came to summer school, and I made a lot of good friends, and just the opportunity of so many, just a variety of things you can explore here. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Like just available to the students. It's, whether it be sports, of course, but the arts, like orchestra and band. And I am sorry if I don't name you, but just the opportunity for even fine arts, the facilities are just top notch. And so I tried to take as much summer school as I could. I tried to take music, and I tried to take fine arts, and I had to do the academics, but I was here all day long. And I, from summer school from 7:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. And so I told my mom, you don't need to pick me up because I'm going to take it all. I'll even take Brown reading systems,
Wow.
So just the opportunity that Iolani School provides just to find your passion. You just keep taking things, and then all of a sudden something sticks, and you go, wow, I had that opportunity to find something like that I really love here.
So when you became a student here in 1980, which was then your sophomore year, what did that feel like? It wasn't the summertime; it was August, and now
Yes.
you're a Iolani student. And let's just to paint the picture here.
Yes.
It's not easy. I don't know what the percentages are, but when you look at those graduation pictures, there's not a lot of girls.
No.
Like, we're talking less than 20% of the class is girls.
Less than a third.
Yeah.
Less than a third at the beginning.
So there's an imbalance, and the facilities are, kind of on their way, but
Right, for the change. I had, being here, wanting to come here for a very long time, a personal story is where I did all the summer schools. I volunteered here as much as I could. I worked here as much as I could. I had so many opportunities open up to me. Then when I finally got to come, I felt like, oh, I'm home now. You know, I came, I got a chance to be here, and now I can live here. You know, I don't have to just visit every time. So it was nice because I knew a lot of the teachers. I already knew a lot of the coaches. I volunteered here. You know, they knew how badly I wanted to come. It's just that it was my gender that didn't allow me to come. So even my parents, you know, I put in my application all on my own, and they said, "You sure you want to go there?" I go, "Yes, I do. Please let me go." You know, so it was like a dream come true for me. So I think that's why I want to give back so much. I want these kids to have all that opportunity, you know, whether it just be in second, third, and fourth grade science. I think it's really important for them to get exposed to all these different kinds of opportunities. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, no, it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
Typically, you would think, and maybe there were. I'll ask the question: Did you have concerns
No,
coming to a
I didn't.
coming to a school just a year removed from being an all boys school?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any reservations about coming to an all-boys school. I had nothing but I didn't have any bad experiences. I wish I had something to say about a bad experience. I don't.
We're not asking you for a crazy story, but if you have one, we'll take it. But
yeah, I
it's just
didn't.
interesting.
You know,
to kind of-
everyone was very accepting. All the teachers were so willing to help. I had really good friends here already, mostly boys. I would say to this day, most of my friends are boys. I don't know, maybe I'm a tomboy at heart, but I made lifelong friendships here from the get-go, you know, and
It's great.
yeah, I've had no really bad experiences in high school or trying to get into Iolani all the way up to here, and I haven't looked back. You know?
What was it like physically? Like, how were the bathrooms
Oh, yeah.
and
I
the
can talk
locker
about that.
rooms? Like, cause
Yes.
it's not like how it is now.
Yes, it's not how it is now. So yes, they were all boys, of course. So those locker rooms were all boy locker rooms, and so I also came to play sports for Iolani as well, and I got the opportunity to be here when they were in transition, and so I remember Mrs. Noda at the time, Miss Noda.
Yeah.
She is now
Look.
Mrs. Look.
Yeah.
She was my PE teacher.
Mine too.
So was Mr. Martin. And I think Mr. Nakakoa too. And of course, dear Mr. Hamada, who I've been avoiding to talk about because, you know, I'm going to start crying. And I already did already. So he had a really big impact on my life. I always ask myself every day if I'm in a stressful situation or a tough situation, I would always ask myself, what would Mr. Hamada do? Because that's how you want to live your life, you know, with humility, with gratefulness, with kindness. He would give the shirt off your back. I'm sure you heard all that before, but one of the most unselfish men I've ever met.
Yeah.
Unselfish person I've ever met in my life. And so I try to live my life with grace and kindness about how Mr. Hamada would live his life. But he was funny because he would walk around the campus trying to get to know all the girls because he knew all the guys already, but the girls were all new because he wanted to start with girls' sports.
Yeah.
Right? So every lunchtime, he's walking around, talking, introducing himself. Kathe, take me meet your friends. Take me meet your friends. Take me meet your friends. Okay, so then we go over and meet him and we meet them, and he goes, okay, stand up. So he made all of them stand up. And if you were over 5'2", he'd give you this piece of paper. And he goes, you're coming out for sports. Here's the tryout dates. Everybody, you're coming out for sports. And Miss Nora, I think, would do the same thing. And because we were trying to create all these sports teams, and it wasn't about being competitive. It was just playing for your school and just having school pride and personal pride, right?
Participation.
Yeah. And I think that's what we still stand for today, is just participating in the sport to help you grow as a person. And so Mr. Hamada would go around with that, have everybody stand up. Too bad he never have a ruler. He didn't have a ruler. He just kind of eyeballed you, And then he would say, okay, you're trying out. No cuts, no cuts, no cuts. Just come on out. And so we all go out and we all play all these different sports, had a great time. Everybody was super accepting. And then you go to the locker room. And then you go into the locker room and you walk in the locker room and you go, man, those look like some strange sinks. What in the world is that? And then...
That ain't no sink.
Well, we thought it was a sink at the time. We're like, how do these sinks work? Oh my gosh. So we go up there and all the girls are there and we're like, oh, that's some low sinks. And then you put your hand on it. And we didn't put our hands in it, but we finally realized it was not sinks, but it was urinals. And they had not taken them out. They didn't have a chance to take it out yet.
Yeah.
So the PE teachers would go, no, the sinks are around the corner. They just put them in. But then eventually, by a year, all those urinals were gone.
It takes time.
It does. But then that was so funny because most of us never saw those before. And we're in 7th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade.
Mr. Masunaga told me that the boys were a little upset because their favorite bathroom in the upper school got turned into a girls' bathroom. That's the one by the attendance window, which is still a girls' bathroom.
Yes. And as soon as you enter, you turn to the right, there was this really long urinal over there. Sorry to say the word again, but right over there. And then we're like, whoa, what's that?
Yeah.
So that's the girls' bathroom. They had to convert that. And they had converted their favorite, I think, was it their favorite locker room too. They got displaced from there too. Yeah, a lot of them. Nobody ever walked in on us, but I'm sure they probably had to go a little farther down to get to their locker rooms. But because before that, the boys' locker room wasn't there before.
And then afterwards, they got the Father Bray Athletic Center.
Yes, I think that was being built.
The new locker rooms. Mm-hmm. What about the boys? What was their reaction back then when there were girls on campus? Yeah,
so since I wasn't the first girl to be in that 82 class, I never had any repercussions. I was always very welcomed by the boys. Well, I think it was either welcomed or, I wouldn't say fearful, but just not sure about how a girl would react. So sometimes I would walk down the hall and it was like the Red Sea would part. And then they would all move to the side.
Yeah.
And I would go, oh, thanks. And then I would just walk straight through. And then they would just then I looked behind me and then the sea would close back up as they would walk to, between classes. We had only 3 minutes to walk to class.
3? Oh, we had 4.
We had 3.
Oh, wow.
We had 3. Then it went 4. And is it 5 now?
It's 5 now.
It's 5 now.
Sometimes
Lucky
10.
Guys.
Yeah.
Lucky guys. We had 3. We were running to get to class.
What about things like school dances and things like that?
Yeah,
when there were so few girls, right?
Yes, so they would invite the girls from HSG and Priory. HSG is now La Pietra, right? Yeah. HSG, Hawaii School for Girls. Priory, and what's that other one on Wailea Avenue? Do you know the name of that? Do you have a microphone, Kings? Sacred Hearts.
Oh, Sacred Hearts.
Sacred Hearts. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
and they would be invited to the dances in the student center. And so, and then even the sports teams we had to combine as well. Did you know that, John?
No,
We had
I
to
didn't know that.
Yeah. So in order to make some of our JV and varsity teams at the beginning, we actually had combined kind of like a Pac-5 kind of thing. Some girls from Priory and La Pietra.
Cool. Some of your students, maybe most, if not all of your students, because they're just so young, might not know about your part in the school's history. Your name and the name of one of your classmates is
Jill?
the answer.
Jill
Jill Fong is the answer to a trivia question, being who are the two females
Yes.
to receive first and second diplomas from Iolani School.
Yes. Dear Jill Fong. Yes. So I know the second graders with Mrs. Chung and all her wonderful second grade teachers. They do a really good history lesson on Iolani. And I've had some second grade students come to interview me
Oh, cool.
about how we got to having all girls here. And so a lot of the kids know that, you know?
That's
yeah.
good to
So
know.
once they learn it in second grade, a lot of them still remember it all the way up to sixth grade till they go to upper school. And so they're just doing the history lesson now. So a lot of the kids come into science and ask me questions about it.
I would imagine when they first hear that as a fact, it kind of blows their mind.
Yes, they're in disbelief.
Because it is, in the modern time, it's really hard to imagine this school without the girls.
It really is.
They're the scholars, they're the musicians, they're the athletes, the leaders, and the boys are too. But my goodness, it's hard to imagine what this school would be like if it wasn't co-ed. And I think at this point, even though I did come to this school and spent 1 year in the boys' school in sixth
All
grade.
boys? You were all boys too?
Yeah.
For 1 year?
For 1 year.
Yeah.
And then I went to the upper school. But wow.
I
mean, and then for them to be told, yeah, Mrs. Warner, your teacher, or you're going to have her next year.
Yeah, they actually came with a lot of questions.
Good.
So I took some time in science class to answer all their questions that they had about it. And they were actually really, they wanted to know a little bit more about who was here when I was here, you know. So I talked to them a little bit about Mr. Hamada, about our headmaster, Father Kuhn, about how he was instrumental in having girls here. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the front runners in the administration who wanted girls here, and I think he had a lot of backlash back then, but he still moved forward with it. He said the school needs to move forward.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an easy decision. Now, in hindsight, it looks like an easy decision, but
right.
it was not.
Yes, Father Kuhn had a lot of influence in my life and as a positive role model as well, too.
And it's a little bit confusing. The first co-ed class, one could say, is the class of 83.
Yes, definitely.
You are a class of 82.
Yes, last all boys.
You moved up into the class of 82 and graduated a year earlier.
Yes.
So there were 2 girls in that class.
Yes. So I had dropped a grade to come here, right? That's how bad I wanted to come here.
So you rejoined your class of 82.
In the second semester, I rejoined the 82 class. But the 82 should be known as the last all-boys class. And the 83 girls boys and girls are the first co-ed class.
I think largely the boys in the class of 82 would like to be remembered as the last all-boys class. Yes. And I think that they are.
They are.
2 girls graduated with them.
Mm-hmm. That's how it should be stated in the history books. And yes, I am proud to be a Trivial Pursuit question.
And you are here as a teacher, and Joe Fong teaches piano to a great many Iolani school students.
Yes, we still
I
keep in
understand.
touch today. And we still keep in touch. I have to shout out to the class of 82, man.
Yeah.
We still keep in touch with a lot of those guys. They're a strong alumni group. And
Very strong.
they're a
very strong.
great bunch of guys. And they always include us. They always include us. They always make sure they call us or email us.
One of Dr. Cottrell's favorite classes
Yay.
is your class of 82.
Very good.
Not that he plays favorites, but he has a kinship with them.
Yes, they're
that
a
is-
great
that
bunch
is
of guys.
well
man.
known.
Great bunch of guys.
For you as a lower school teacher, you kind of touched upon this a little bit about Bradley coming back and seeing you.
Mm-hmm.
But how does it feel when you're sitting there during the commencement ceremony and you see some students that you taught many years ago, kind of grown up, still on their way to grow up more, but heading out into the real world? What is that day like on the first Saturday of June when you're sitting there hearing those names called?
Of course, extremely proud and excited for them to go out into the world and just go adventuring, find their way.
Is it amazing to
know?
think like they were doing the catapult in the
Yes,
courtyard over there?
yes.
And
It's just, I think that's one of the pleasures of teaching here at Iolani is that you get to see your students all the way through
Yeah.
to high school graduation. And that's one of the most satisfying things
Yeah.
is getting to see them spread their wings and fly.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And what about your own children? Kai, class of 16, and
yes.
Mia, class of 20.
Yes.
She graduated last year
Yes.
in that
Yes.
very memorable commencement ceremony.
Oh, they did a fantastic job. Oh my God, I just didn't think it would be able to be that good. And I think a lot of this 2020 parents were, I guess, small kind worried, but it was beyond their
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
And the kids were so happy. It was just amazing how everyone came together. I don't know who to thank, but there must be hundreds of people that came together to put that all together from start to finish. It was
Including our
just-
own King's Clo Heilani
yeah,
here. And
just beautiful. The way all those it was large yet so intimate at the same time.
yeah.
I don't know how to say that.
I think at some level, Kai's graduation was fantastic. Mia's graduation was fantastic, different. But man, who wouldn't turn down the drive out? The
best.
how would we describe that? That was a kind of a cheer
Drive.
tunnel.
Drive
Hihivai,
through.
yeah.
Yes, it's just the feeling all the love from all the faculty and staff going through La'au Place. That's still called La'au Place, isn't it? Not anymore. They changed it. Yeah. Is it called Hihivai now?
If you would just extend it, depends on which way you're going.
Yeah.
But heading toward Hihivai.
It's just that was chicken skin, man.
Yeah.
We were crying the whole time. Here I go again. I crying the whole time on the way out there. Just
Amazing, because you're seeing your colleagues, and she's seeing her teachers.
and we're just saying thank you. We're
Yeah.
screaming thank you and thank you. And I have a video, and I watch it every now and again. It's about a 47-second video
That's
of
awesome.
us driving through the tunnel. It's just the tunnel of Iolani love. Just I wish I could do it over again. I think they should start that tradition.
Well,
They should try and do that every year.
I think you would be crying if we were doing the lay portion on Eddie Hamada Field. You know what I mean? we have to acknowledge that would have been cool too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eddie Hamada Field. Now I want to ask you about Eddie Hamada. When I look at this bulletin board here behind me, you have a page. I think that's from the Eddie Hamada Legacy Project
Yes.
program,
Yes.
which is the project to build a life-size statue
Yes.
of Edward K. Hamada
Yes.
for our school campus.
that
And
was-
there's a quotation on it from the 1984 ka mo'olelo o Iolani yearbook dedication. It says, Coach Hamada has taught his players humility and at the same time a sense of pride in themselves. Mr. Hamada has been more than a coach. He has been a friend. And that's on your wall here too, giving you inspiration
My
every
dorm
day.
room.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about when you think about what you asked that question before, what would he do? Like what situations come up where you turn to that sort of influential person for some guidance, for some inspiration? So powerful.
Yeah, I just kind of picture him in my mind, and he was always so calm, and he was always so thoughtful, and he never really got super upset unless they were losing by a lot in the football game. But, when you're calm and thoughtful about things, you're able to think clearer, and so that's what I try to do is I try to stay calm and thoughtful and depend on people, try to know who to depend on. And Mr. Hamada was somebody that you could always depend on to be there for you, no matter how tough the situation would be. And there were some tough situations sometimes, at school, of course, with grades or with people, there's always things in life that's going to be tough for you. But if you can turn to someone, he says, more than a coach, he has been a friend. I mean, along with Mrs. O,
Yeah.
the door was always open to go in to talk to him or Mrs. O. And they were the dynamic duo.
That office was a sanctuary.
It is. Yes, it is. You were always able to talk about anything. And you felt trust. It was always that you could trust them and they always had your back, and that's,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, you are. And it just speaks to the reason why there is a Eddie Hamada Legacy Project. While we would all agree 100% that Mr. Hamada would not want a statue of him
Yes.
anywhere,
Yes.
does not want his name on fields and whatnot. But as Wendell Look said, we need it.
Yes.
We need it because
We need to
teach our kids.
Yes.
The
we
current
need to
generation.
teach our little Raiders.
The future generations.
Yes.
Your shirt that you're wearing today says Iolani One Team.
Yeah, I had to wear that today. I had to channel my inner one team today.
And the kids buy into that and they understand it and they live it. But at some point, they should be taught where that thought got crystallized.
Yes.
It was Father Bray who kind of established it, instilled it in Eddie Hamada.
Yes.
And Eddie Hamada really brought it to the modern day.
I have to say that Mr. Hamada already had it in him.
Okay.
Father Bray was there. Yeah, he's iconic. He's wonderful. He is, he is our one team ethos person, right? But Mr. Hamada always had it in him. It was like natural. He just exuded it already.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
And so that was just another great step forward for our school that we had someone like that. But there's so many people. Oh my gosh, Bill Lee, Mr. Feldhaus, all these people that were stepping stones to keep us moving forward with this one team ethos. And Kang. Oh my God, what an honor to play for her. I got to play for her. What an honor. What an honor. But then, even we have in our little lower school here, am I still being recorded? Is it time to go? In our one team, and we have this thing called Raider Skills for Success now. Have you heard of that, John?
No.
We just adopted it. So we asked the students what is important for our, to how to live your life here at Iolani, how to be a good person, And so the teachers came up with this, the students came up with all this, and it's actually called the Raider Skills for Success. I don't know, I should give you a copy, huh?
Yeah.
And it talks about one team and how we have them evaluate themselves every quarter on how they did, how they collaborated effectively, how they behaved ethically and respectfully, and how they showed compassion, true compassion to others. And they actually rate themselves. And they also talk about on the side how they should improve on it. And so we call it Rater Skills for Success. And it's broken down into 1, 2, 3 sections. But the first section is one team. Thinking and working together with peers and adults. So I think we try to instill that in them from the very early age. So we do this evaluation every quarter. Rater
That's
Skills
great.
for Success.
So awesome. This is one of my toughest questions.
You gonna make me cry again?
You know, what does one team mean to you? It means something different to everybody. And that's kind of the power of it. It kind of interacts in each of us differently, but with the same effect and common goal. What does one team mean to you?
I try to instill this in myself, in my students, and my personal life with my family. I guess it's the golden rule.
Do unto others.
You know, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's what one team means to me.
Absolutely. 3 or 4 decades later, I don't want to date you or myself. We're kind of the same vintage. How is the school different? And perhaps more importantly, because that's a tough question too, how is it the same?
I would say now, how are we different from when we were going to school, John? I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
Are you in the same decade as me?
Yeah, 87.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same decade.
We're there.
I lump them all together when we're in the same
We
decade.
inhabited the school at the same time.
I would say we're much more progressive. And we're much more open to change now than we were before. We were very traditional before. And I think change is good. You always need to constantly change, but yet be mindful of the past, of where you came from. But we're much more progressive in moving forward at a faster pace. So it's not just moving forward, progressive, but at the pace that we're moving forward. And we got to keep up, because we got to keep moving forward with these kids who are teaching us how to do technology in the classroom. You know, I'm like, oh no, I don't know how to share Google Slides. They're like, oh, 7 hands go up. Oh, I can teach you, Mrs. Warner. You know, so we got to.
They love to do that.
Yeah. They're our teachers. You know, we're going to learn. We're learning from them, and we got to keep up with them. And so we got to keep them moving forward at a very progressive, safe pace. So.
And from a parent's perspective, how did the school do with your children?
Oh, wonderful. Oh my gosh. That is the ultimate, to have your child come to experience Iolani. You know, I think they don't appreciate it when they're young, but I think as they get older and they go out adventuring, as I say, and seeing the world, I think they come back to appreciate Iolani a lot more as they age, as they get older. But things have stayed the same as well, as you said. So to answer the second part of your question, the traditions are really big here. You know, we have a lot of traditional things that we do here that we expect every year. So it's good to have constants, but it's good to have change at the same time.
And the people. It's still a people place.
Oh, that's why we come every day. I think that the people here that we get to interact with, you know, John, Kings, all you folks, everyone around here, Mr. Kondo, who comes and wipes down all of our handles of our doors every day, you know, I mean, just being able that we all have the same goal and the same mission and we're all in here together is unbelievable that we have all these people we can depend on that live and work here.
Absolutely
It's awesome.
right. And one of them is you.
One Team
You've
Ohana,
been
man.
associated this school for a long time.
Yes. Yes.
And we thank you for that.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to exude Iolani.
And yeah, thank you for the time, and thank you for us to come here on the road.
Yeah. This is a great
This
thing.
is our first podcast from a remote location.
Yes, that's awesome that you guys do this and that you are able to continue the legacy of One Team.
Just
That's
trying to share the stories of the people that make this place so much fun.
It is.
So good for our children and our
Yes.
community.
Yes.
And thank you.
Yes, it's a great
Kathe
place.
Warner.
It's a great place to be. Such quality people here.
And thank you for giving back.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, guys.
Take care.
Go Raiders.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. This episode is the first of a 3-part series focusing on the new buildings in our lower school. In the next episode, we'll go upstairs in the Kaneshiro Science and Innovation Center and visit with Mr. Michael Fracano, who teaches design and technology to our K-6 students. And later, to wrap the series up, we'll hop over to the Sydney and Minnie Kosasa Performance Studios and chat with dance teacher Mrs. Lisa Lee Simone of the class of 1988. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you again soon.